to ensure that no Kenyan dies of hunger or malnutrition. The other issue we would want to take this opportunity is that we would want to reiterate the fact that the government of Kenya, the executive arm, respects the Constitution and will continue working with all institutions established by the Constitution in this country for the progress, welfare, cohesion, and social stability of our people. Finally, the government would want to specifically restate that we have confidence in the capacity of the judiciary as an institution to continue delivering on its constitutional mandate in a manner that is patriotic, that underwrites social and economic stability of Kenya, and also ensures democracy and justice, and also that is cognizant of the collective aspirations and needs of the people of Kenya. That is the brief statement we had for you today. We shall now entertain your questions. Any questions? Nam?
You have mentioned something about the judiciary and given that what has been going on in terms of the judiciary. The same sentiments that you're saying that you're supporting the judiciary, but contrary to what the political class and many from the side of the judiciary, which is the income of the judicial administration, the words seems they are not matching. What do you call it?
Well, you are asking whether our confidence in the institution of judiciary is consistent with what politicians say. Remember that we have an institution called the National Council on the Administration of Justice, where we all sit for the interest of this country. I would want to restate that as an institution, we have confidence in the judiciary. We know that a private member of parliament has filed a petition, I think, with the Judicial Service Commission. That one is his constitutional right. What we would want to say as a government is that the judiciary will have its own criticisms going towards it. You remember that the judiciary is even lucky. The Speaker of the National Assembly was, at some point, I think he was poured water or what. The president, the head of the executive, has been receiving all kinds of allegations against him. That does not mean that the governance of this country should be drawn to simple parochial activities. Actually, we take exception with those people who have been trying to brand the judiciary. Unfortunately, I've been a public servant and I've received this criticism several times as a tribal agenda. We believe, and I personally believe, this is my personal opinion, that Justice Maraga himself has the capacity and the necessary shock absorbers to remain focused, to remain consistent, and to remain professional, even under the current criticism, because it is important for the country. Unless all the issues raised are taken through the due process of the law, the things must remain as they are, and all of us must serve Kenya. There is a reason why the Constitution put those bodies there, and the reason is to ensure that the government of the people continues and justice and the rule of law is actually observed. What we would want to sensitize Kenyans about is that giving opinions on a judgment is not criminal. In fact, in the same Supreme Court, a judge categorically stated that he did not see an iota of evidence. And therefore, the criticisms and the disagreements from every quarter are not strange in any respect. We should take them for what they are and as a country proceed on without unnecessarily dividing ourselves in terms of political parties, in terms of opinions. In a democracy, these opinions will always be there.
The president called the judges and we can call them Wakora. That's what the president said. What do you think of that?
What is your name?
Sorry?
What is your name? Talaka. I think asking me to comment on what the president said is ukora, and on a light note, and I wouldn't want to comment on that. The opinions expressed by the president are opinions held by a vast majority of Kenyans. I think the best solution at this point in time is the courts to come out with. We actually did ask this quite early, that the basis of the judgment which is under debate, it is very important that the information, the evidence, the grounds on which that judgment was reached is provided to all Kenyans wherever they are living in a language they can understand, so that you give the citizens an opportunity to weigh what politicians are saying against the considerations you meant and make their own opinion. It doesn't help anybody when there is such scanty information, factual information within the public domain, that all kinds of opportunistic suggestions come flying. So the best weapon provided by the Constitution is giving information to the citizen and leaving it to them to pass their own judgment about the competence, about the partiality, about the patriotism, and of course about the national values outlined in Article 10, about the conduct of public servants. Let Kenyans have that information so that misinformation does not take precedence. Your name? Karisa. Yeah, the issue of terror threats and a few regions which have seen attacks, we would want to sensitize Kenyans that terrorism has a way of taking advantage when the attention of the country is diverted to other issues. And it is a common threat, and all areas of Kenya, people should be on the lookout. People should be working with security agencies, especially in sensitive areas, in the places of worship, during the days of worship, in all places where a lot of people are assembling, in our universities and institutions. We must remain vigilant so that we prevent and keep off the attacks, detect the attackers early, and have them dealt with according to the rule of law. And therefore, we should not limit ourselves to Lamu and Mandera. It should be an issue of every citizen being aware that we are still at war with Al-Shabaab. I think the silence means there are no more questions. So kwa Kiswahili kidogo, mwangaza huko kwa macho sana, hata sioni taarifa mzuri ambayo niliyoiandika. Lakini tunataka kuwaeleza Wakenya kwamba serikali
Well, that is government spokesperson Eric Kiraithe issuing a statement from the coastal city of Mombasa. He talked about issues to do with food security in the country, the general security in the country, saying that the country is still at war with Al-Shabaab. But he also talked about matters judiciary, saying that the government has full confidence in the judiciary. This is coming hot on the heels after one of the Jubilee's Member of Parliament from Nyeri filed a petition seeking to remove Chief Justice or kick out Chief Justice David Maraga for, according to him, allegedly intriguing a judicial coup. And at these